Let's get it. Man, it feels good to be back. Take a day off. Feels like being wanting to get back from vacation. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR show.
Let's go. Let's go.
AKA the DNVR Nuggets Podcast, presented by Bet365. Never ordinary. Certainly not today. I'm serious, man. It feels good to be back. You miss a couple days, or you miss one day of the show, and you're kind of like, I'm itching to get back. At least that's how I feel. Itching to get back to talk Nugs. Through the days off, there's all these things. You're like, man, I wish we were doing a show today to talk about that. Well, a day late, but not $1 short. To help me out, Brett and Vogt. Speaking of short. Sorry.
Coming with some bangers off the top.
He's right. I'm the shorter one.
Sorry. I didn't mean that.
No, it's good. It was good.
Bad.
It was good. Hi.
Did I take away your thunder? I did. I just totally
no, you're good.
chopped you
I
at
like
the knees.
it. I like it.
Which would make you even shorter.
Oh,
Over here, Harrison Wind.
What's going on, guys? I'm also thrilled to be here. Very happy to be here.
Always happy, always ready, always prepared, Harrison Wind. We have practice notes today as the Denver Nuggets practice. Michael Malone in a chipper mood, or was he grouchy? Do we read into that? Plus, Jokic is sending messages, literally and figuratively sending messages to the league, to his teammates right now. Draymond Green, love him or hate him, had some very, not just nice things to say about the Nuggets, but very insightful and interesting things to say about the Nuggets. And then we're going to talk about the top 5 Jokic raconteurs. Did I say that word right?
I think so.
I don't know how you say it in the first place, so I'll say yes.
I like the way that you
Who do
said
we like when you hear, oh, so-and-so's talking about Jokic? Who do you like go like, oh, hell yeah, I got to hear that?
Yeah.
And then to round out the show today, we're going to talk about the Clippers rebranding into a new version of the Clippers, which feels fitting. Feels so fitting.
We might also have some leaks of the Nuggets group text.
We might have some there. You know what? Yoke sending messages. We might have that coming up very, very quickly. But first, take us to practice today, Harrison Wind. You were there. You were interviewing the players.
Yeah. Well, to start with Michael Malone, he had a bit of an edge to him at practice today, I'll say. Focus, locked in. And I wonder if it has anything to do with the Nuggets playing the Kings tomorrow.
Do you think he still has these feelings?
I don't know.
It's been so long. He won a championship.
Well, this time it's probably about the way the Kings games went this year.
Yeah, they are 0-3 against the Kings this year.
What are they? Honestly, I bet you they have the worst record against the Kings of any team.
They're definitely like well below 500 against the Kings, right?
Yoke's going to, in his Hall of Fame speech, he's going to mention this. He's going to be like, and by the way, I threw all the Kings games just to piss you off. It was my little
I just wanted to see your reaction to it.
Sabonis actually had no chance against me. I just made it look that way.
Have you seen the triple-double numbers Sabonis has been putting up lately?
Have I seen?
Bro had a triple-double in the third quarter last night.
In a loss.
Yep.
By the way, I support Sabonis triple-double hunting. Anything to tell your grandkids one day, like, oh, Jokic, the greatest player of all time. You know that one year I had more triple-doubles than he did? That's worth it.
Man, it's going to be a hell of a race, actually. I'm excited for it. Do you think both guys get a triple-double tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
I think so, too.
Absolutely.
They're in a zone right
It's written in the stars.
I think Sabonis knows the exact count of this race.
But real quick, on Malone's grouchiness, I always say that Malone's in a good mood when he feels good about his team. And then he's in a grouchy mood when he senses maybe something's off. That's probably too reductive. Like, sometimes people are just in bad moods, you know? Like, that happens. But I will say, Nuggets are playing great.
Zeke Naji's playing great. The bench is looking. What could there be to be grouchy about right now?
So, bad practice, who knows? But Malone grouchy was definitely not on my bingo card today.
Well, the Kings do present some problems for any defense they play. They've presented problems for the Nuggets this year. De'Aaron Fox, tough to stop. And Malone shouted out Kevin Huerter as well.
Oh, yeah.
As somebody who's really hurt them in the past because...
Pride of Western New York.
As he was talking about today, you're so focused on De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, that two-man game, all the DHOs they run, sometimes in a similar way to the Nuggets. And then you got a great spot-up shooter there that you got to worry about as well. So Kevin Huerter, very top of the Nuggets' defensive game plan tomorrow, containing him.
There you go.
We also talked with KCP, who had the best bit of insight from today's practice. And he shared with us that after the All-Star game, immediately after the All-Star game, Nikola Jokic sent a text message to the rest of his teammates, dropped a little note in the group chat about the stretch run. And KCP did not want to divulge a lot of details about what the text message did say, but he did say that it got everybody motivated, and we're looking forward to winning another championship KCP said we already knew what his mindset was and how he was going to come in after the All-Star break. But it seems like this was a very direct, succinct, pointed message from Nikola Jokic about, what time of year it is.
So I think that Jok's, he's not a vocal leader. He's a lead by example guy. I think that at least part of this has to do with the fact that he doesn't feel comfortable speaking English. He says some really interesting things, but he mutters them, right? Like it takes him a while. He does a lot of that. But I imagine when he wants to, he can get a text. You know what I mean? Because when he speaks in his native tongue, if you ever see the translated quotes, they're actually beautiful. He's kind of a poet. He's got a little poetry to him. And I'll bet you that he had something like I'll bet you it was a very, for him, by his standard, a very articulate text.
Yeah.
That was like, you know what? And because we say fired up, it's not just like, hey guys, championship, we can do this, come on. I'll bet he had something very, very specific and detailed that made the guys think, all right.
Yeah.
And I do think when a player of that gravitas and caliber and magnitude isn't necessarily your vocal leader, if you have a supporting ecosystem for that, Michael Malone, Jamal Murray, guys who can kind of be more of that front-facing kind of leader, I would imagine that the rare texts and messages and explicit statements from Jokic go a long way.
Right. Like, it's not like every month he's sending this type of text.
No. To put it more simply, I'm thinking you get a text from Jokic and you're ready to run through a wall. And maybe not everyone down to a man, but I would imagine that there is some power in him speaking to the team in that way, and that you probably look at that one and internalize it more than you do from those you hear every day.
I gotta know what was said, man. I gotta know.
I know, man. Wouldn't you love to know?
It's like, I love that KCP shared this because it's so fun to think about, but at the same time, it's like excruciating to think about. I want to know.
Yeah, me too.
He's like, hey, man, I was just at the All-Star game. These guys are deeply unserious. Let's just get it together and let's go win another one.
And I wonder if this is Jok's first All-Star. I didn't think about this till you just said this. This is his first All-Star as the reigning NBA champion. Yeah. Think about it. Every other year he's been there, there has been I'm sure, some kind of thoughts about him and maybe even things expressed. He was picked last. He had to pick himself just not to be last. There's that undertone. But I wonder if there is a little different of like, oh, here comes Joker, the reigning NBA champion who just steamrolled everybody that's in this room. Like they all just got clowned by him in the playoffs. Yeah. And I wonder if there is a little bit, it was probably a different experience. I don't think anybody's asked him that question. But I'll bet it was a different experience for him this year than it was in the previous ones.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't think?
I mean, he is like out of the main club at All-Star Weekend, I feel like. He's in the other group with him and Luka.
Sure.
Maybe Giannis in that group too. But he's out of the main club of like LeBron, KD.
But there's a difference. I don't think that they're going to treat him like friends. Like that's never going to happen. But I mean,
like a little more, Joker.
Now he's like, it's like The Wire. He's he's Omar. He might be an outcast, but rather than it be a clown, it's like, oh crap, here he comes. You know what I mean? I think it's more like, all right, I got to be cool with this guy because I'm a little scared. Like, that guy kind of clowned me last year, and that's all I mean. And look, Jokic, I think, has great intuition, just as like at least as a basketball player. I have no idea about a person, but I wonder if he just senses those things.
Horrible intuition as a person.
It's entirely possible, right?
Such a funny twist. Just can't make a good decision off the court.
He just misreads every circumstance.
He's like, I thought,
just can't read any social cues.
He's like, LeBron's my best friend. Man, that guy loves me, man.
Right.
He's like, Bron, we going out tonight?
Yeah.
Here's a funny. JaMychal Green hated him.
Yeah,
he
the whole time.
I want to play with you forever.
Hey, JaMychal Green got out of here as first chance he could get.
As he could. I mean, he had some nice quotes about the next team. I'm just saying.
Do you speculate, though, at all, Harrison, what could have been on those text messages specifically?
So I think for real, it was probably just something like, all right, guys, we got 27 games left to go. Let's lock in. Like, we know what we have to do. We know what our mission is this season. I bet it was something along those lines.
That's so bland, man.
You think it was something more than that?
again, I think that Jokic, just because I know in his native tongue, like here's what I mean. And maybe it's just Serbians speak this way. I'm not sure. Help me out in the chat. But when you translate some of his things,
Proverbs.
Yeah, they're like little proverbs. You know what I mean?
Serbian.
Yeah,
The whole
it
thing
might
is just
be
proverbs.
where every now and then he's like, "A blade of grass cannot be cut until it's reached its height," and you're like, "What?" He's like,
Right.
"Oh, that's a saying we have."
Yeah.
And I just wonder if he had pulled a couple of those out in a way that were like, the team was like, "You know what? That is true. We are a tree that grows in the forest taller than the."
Yeah, like where does the goat drink from? The Larry O'Brien trophy.
There, where he did this to his teammates. I don't know. I thought I was trying to lead to your bit.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I thought you were just gonna lead that in on your own, but
I was scrambling for serious analysis. I was like, oh no.
I thought you wanted.
I thought
genuinely.
we
serious
did the serious
analysis.
part already. But
Right.
if you have more serious, you could do that before we get to the
Yeah.
lesser serious.
But I mean, I think it was probably along those lines. Maybe also like, maybe he dropped a little hashtag Project Dynasty. I don't know.
Can you look, guys? All the Nuggets are good. Like
Look, I've been watching the DNVR show, and they're pumped. So
that would be
actually, we
incredible.
hadn't been at that
But
point.
we might have been sent a couple leaks from the Nuggets group chat.
We do have a couple people on the inside.
I don't want to get in trouble.
we
for
got
airing
some
this
leaks
out.
Oh man,
here.
those are so tiny. Good
this
luck.
one comes from the Nuggets group chat, and
It's so tiny.
Nikola Jokic after the All-Star game, just making sure everybody's clued into the horse racing circuit in Serbia.
Yeah, Bruno Lamar.
Brendan Lamar, big
Yeah.
race coming up. He wants to make sure everybody's locked in. Zeke Naji says he's locked in.
There's no way Zeke responds that quickly, though. Actually, now that I think of it,
If it's Jokic, I bet he does.
maybe.
He's the first one to answer. Colin Gillespie, like 10 seconds later.
Yeah, it's like when your boss DMs you, you got to respond to that.
Like, quickly.
Is that right? Is that right?
At least there's some kind of pressure,
Yeah. So that could have been it. Brucey B somehow still in this group chat. He's into it.
Dude, poor Brucey B, by the way, not really playing that great with the Raptors. I think he's very sad to have gotten traded to Toronto and stuck there.
He's like, I can help a contender. I can't help these dudes.
Well, they're actually playing okay. This is
I
the thing
know,
is he went
I
to a
know.
team with a bunch
He's
of
not
young guys.
playing
They're
well.
playing well, and he's like, what am I doing here?
You know what, Bruce? Just check your bank account. All
Yeah,
is
that's
well.
true.
All is well.
Yeah. This was another leak from the group chat, actually. But this one was supposed to be sent just to Luka Doncic. He accidentally dropped it in the whole group chat.
Zeke immediately.
Yeah. Zeke's just locked into this group chat.
I do like Christian Brown Project Dynasty. Let's go.
Yeah.
Who do you think uses the most emojis? Is emojis a Gen Z thing? I feel like millennials might be the more emoji. I'm learning this as I hang around more Gen Zs.
Emojis are out, you're saying?
Remember when someone told us reaction gifs are out? They're like, dude, you seem so old when you're using a reaction gif. And I'm like, dude, you guys have ruined everything fun.
Yeah.
It happens quick.
It happens quick.
Who
Man.
uses the most I mean, P-Watt's probably dropping the 8-ball after every text he
Yeah.
sends.
Yeah. I feel like Bones used a lot too back in his day.
He's just got it automatically, he's just written it into like the code on his
Yeah.
iPhone where
Yeah.
after every text it's just the 8-ball.
Yeah.
There was a couple more leaks from the group chat as well. Which one is this here?
I can't see.
It's time to lock in.
Oh, this might have been the actual one. Yeah, this is actually what might have been said. Jokic just telling everybody it's time to lock in. Brucey B also locked in.
Why not, man?
Yeah. And then I think we did get one more leak as well. Joker just genuinely asking, how do we improve All-Star Week?
I love that Yoke might actually secretly behind the scenes really cares about All-Star Weekend.
Yeah. He just wants
deal
to
to
make the
him.
weekend better, wants to improve the game.
Yeah.
AG maybe
like it.
teasing a dunk contest appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That train is
So that's what's happening in the Nuggets group chat.
all right. I like it.
Yeah.
What other notes do we have from practice
Should we
today?
share our group chat or should we leave that one private?
That's segment 2.
Okay.
KCP was talking about his finger today that he's been dealing with. Doesn't sound like it's getting better, though. He said it feels worse today than when Denver got back from the All-Star break, and he aggravated it a little bit versus the Wizards. So that's still something he's playing through for sure. And then my final note from practice, we talked with Reggie Jackson as well. And I asked him what his favorite part about being a part of the Nuggets is. You know, he's been here for over a year now, over 12 months. And he said how the Nuggets prepare. He said our preparation, you know, we're all just locked in for every game. We take it all so seriously. And he also said, I love how we don't skip steps.
Come on. Telling you guys. We're Reggie guys here at the show.
Reggie hasn't even been here long enough to know how that would work, but he knows that it's a good line.
What's the oldest of the Jokic era, the oldest callback that Reggie could have?
Take that L, right?
Take that L on the way out would be great. If he somehow...
Yeah.
You know, so Celtics fans can come in here, Knicks fans can come here, Lakers fans
I mean,
come
I'd
here.
like to think that when somebody new comes to Denver, they just give them a quick, 10-minute overview of just some go-to sayings.
That's when we know we made it, is when the next pander job is to DNVR Nuggets.
Yeah.
When we call it a Munder.
Yeah, really excited to record a lot of Munders. Just play for each other, you know. Yeah, Mike. I didn't even ask you
randomly.
that.
When I'm watching the Nuggets at home, I'm sitting there screaming, yeah, Mike. I'm always excited about a Murray flurry.
And, you know, Aaron Gordon, it's like we all want to be Mr. Nugget, so to learn from him.
That would be incredible. That would be incredible.
I mean, he should say that. He should.
I like it. Well, there you go, Reggie, man. Now we're ready for you to start really getting some buckets. Yeah. 'Cause that would actually help a lot. The Panther job is great, but...
One other note that I wanted to bring up. Nuggets are playing the Kings tomorrow, but they got a back-to-back against the Heat. And you know who's on the Heat? Thomas Bryant.
Man, this is the wildest thing, man.
Getting a championship ring, but is suspended for this game.
No.
Yeah.
When you're suspended for a game, honest question, do you know... Because you obviously can't be a part of the game, but can you be in the locker room?
So, I do not think you can be on the court, obviously.
Well,
you can't be on the sideline or anything like that. I remember when Draymond Green got suspended for that playoff game in the finals, and he wasn't allowed to be in the arena.
He had to go to a baseball game.
The game from the Oakland A's Coliseum next door. But I believe they're trying to find a way to
let him get his ring.
Maybe do a special thing.
Let's do it here.
The other thing,
can we do the presentation at the DNVR bar?
Let's do it here.
Dude, we should have him on for a watch along.
That'd be fun.
You think Thomas Bryant would do a game watch along? No. He's all cheering on the Nugs. Like, crap, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to show everyone my live reaction.
He'd be like, oh, God, second unit's coming in. Hold on to your breath. Hold your breath here.
He's like, I've always hated this guy.
I can't believe they're playing him over me. You're right. That's not going to happen. Well, Thomas Bryant, we look forward to you getting to your ring in quiet mode, apparently. What a bummer, though. The NBA should step in. They should step in there.
Unsuspend him for just this game. Reallocate the suspension.
All right, let's take a break. On the other side, I'm very excited to talk about this next one. Draymond Green. Very interesting things to say about Aaron Gordon. Obviously praised Jokic and KCP. Pope. All of those guys. We'll talk about that on the other side.
I'm very excited to talk about this sponsor, Miller Lite.
Hell yeah.
It's always Miller time, guys.
I'm so pumped for this, man. I was gone when we had to make the announcement. I bought a shirt off Amazon. When this deal came through, I bought a shirt.
Dude, they were handing out free Miller Lights and buckets. So,
oh, man, our watch party, yeah. Multiples, too.
I was just chilling, watching the game. Next thing I know, somebody brings me a free Miller Lite.
In a koozie.
In a Miller Lite koozie.
Unbelievable.
A tall boy, too.
DNVR Bar rules, man.
Great. Miller Lite keeps it simple, undebatable quality, great taste, only 96 calories. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. A light beer that tastes like beer. You know, a lot of light beers out there, they taste like water. They taste terrible. Miller Lite, great tasting, and also less filling, only 96 calories. The original light beer since 1975. Times change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Taste like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, MillerLite.com/DNVR. Go there. You can get it delivered to you no matter where you are. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
It is never ordinary with Bet365. I mean, ordinarily we have a great time talking Bet365, placing bets, but they don't want any game, any moment, any single play to feel ordinary. They want them all to feel like the finals, and they can for you. With Bet365, no Nuggets game tonight. There is a Bet Super Boost. the Houston Rockets at OKC Thunder. Now, we want the Thunder to lose this game, but you could do an emotional hedge job here. Root for the Rockets while betting just in case that the Thunder win and SGA posts 30-plus points. Those two things seem to happen hand in hand. That's minus 120, but it's boosted to 150 at Bet365, where it's never ordinary. Download the app, use promo code DNVR. When you sign up, you have to be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. And that's code DNVR365, by the way. DNVR365.
We back?
We're back.
Guys, the Draymond Green podcast. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, you guys know this. I've always enjoyed Draymond Green. His antics. I think this is a personality trait that it's like natural for me to separate the art and the artist.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, some people are very bothered by that, especially in today's day and age, I feel. But for me, I always can like look at a thing and say, no, like this is the thing. Draymond has really good insights on his show. He says some really dumb things on his show. He has like gems hidden in a pile of trash, and him as a person can, be an incredible defensive player with all kinds of antics and stuff surrounding it that poison the well for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I've always thought that he had good insights when he wants to and when he like allows himself to, because he does have like some ego stuff with people that make him very biased. He loves Yoke, man. He's loved Yoke for a long time. I think he especially started to like him in 2022 when they went head to head, and he, even though it was a 5-game series, he's the one person on earth that was like, yeah, that was a tough series, man. That dude was great. But the other night, Jokic gave him 32, 16, 16, and 4.
Gave him hell, Adam.
And more than anyone, Draymond Green knows that you did nothing positive if a guy you're guarding gave you 32, 16, 16, and 4. And he had this to say on his podcast: 32, 16, 16 gave me complete hell tonight. I've had my fair share of good matchups against Joker. I've given him a little bit of hell on some nights, but he gave me total and complete hell tonight. I had absolutely no answers. We just start about that. Let's just start with this. It is hilarious that Draymond Green has a podcast and he has to get his ass kicked and then go and immediately record about it.
In the losers lounge.
Right.
He had to do his own.
Which, by the way,
Losers
Bill
Lounge.
Simmons didn't even have to do after the Nuggets beat the Celtics.
Right.
Draymond has to do it after being in the game.
So I think my first note is just that it's hilarious, and kudos to him for being able to go. And he says, I love this line, so I'm just going to laugh about it because either you laugh or you cry.
That was a bar.
That is a bar, and also as somebody, I can't remember, so I apologize. I retweeted it, but I don't remember who had said it. It is fitting that that's the Joker line. I used to think my life was a tragedy. Now I realize it's a comedy. Draymond was literally saying this after getting completely wrecked by Jokic.
That's what getting wrecked by Jokic does to you.
I thought it was a tragedy. Now I realize.
Yeah. I do agree, though, that I think that a lot of the respect Draymond has is because of that 5-game series.
Yep.
Because if you remember what happened in that series, like the Warriors won games 1 and 2 in such convincing fashion. Most of it was because Jordan Poole played the best 2 games of his life and will ever play. But, Draymond's physicality, it was definitely a storyline with Jokic, with Aaron Gordon. And then as that series went on, Nikola Jokic figured out Draymond Green and the Warriors. And I remember at the time we were all thinking, man, if this was a best of 13, a best of 18, maybe the Nuggets actually win, because it did seem like they were figuring out the Warriors. And Nikola Jokic, by the end of that series, couldn't be stopped. I think that's the main reason why Jokic became one of those guys to Draymond. And even if you think about Jokic now, he's such a better player than he was in that series too.
And I think the other part of this, and we're going to get to the Aaron Gordon piece, Draymond in playoff series tries to stir the pot. One of his advantages, I think Draymond plays better when he hypes himself up. There's a thin line where he crosses that and then it ruins himself. But I think he hypes himself up, talks trash, and it gets him going. And I think it wrecks other people. And I think that was a game that was a series where he's even said on a different podcast, he said he's not bothered by anything you say or do. It doesn't affect him. And I think that series was probably one of them where they were up big, 2 blowouts. I'm sure he was saying some nasty stuff to Joker, and Joker's like, you know what, I'm still punching, man. And I think he gained respect. So I like that. Then this is the part I really love.
Love this point.
He is in incredible shape, man. Y'all should have saw this man run the floor. I had to turn on my burners a little, and he was just going, man. It wasn't like he got tired. I've got a lot of respect for Joker. Always have. Love the way he goes about his business. The running part, there's so many underrated things about Jokic. So many. His toughness is very near the top of the list. He's one of the toughest dudes. Again, Draymond has given him that, said he's on his all-tough team. But number 2 is that toughness is also the conditioning. I don't know if Jokic's in better shape than everyone else, although I'll bet he is. I'll bet he's in top shape relative to even other centers. But I think that some of being in shape is just, what do you do when you're dog-tired? What do you do? And Jokic just keeps going because he's so freaking tough that he just pushes through it. And I think that's what Draymond was hinting at, is like, dude, playing against him, it's tough on you because you have to, like, that voice in your head has to say, keep going.
And so many big men are tasked with doing 2 to 3 things: fight like hell on the boards, protect the rim like a madman, right?
Yeah.
And so these are effort things where you're constantly expending energy. And we've talked about this in the past with Jokic's economy of movement. Different role than most centers, especially as this top option. So in some ways, he's expending less energy in the half court on defense than some of these other centers. He's not jumping for everything. He's not trying to block every layup. But while you're doing that and you've got yourself tired, he's running you. He's running you in every possession, even after makes. It's not just transition. He's always running the floor. And to me, this is the best way that you can tell if Jokic really, really, really wants to win a game. I think we can exaggerate and overstate how little he cares about X, Y. But the games where he goes, we need to look like the Nuggets today and we can't drop this one, this is what he does. And this is what he did to Anthony Davis in that sweep. That dude, there are a million screenshots of Davis looking and going, holy shit, are we running again? And again, this was the guy whose first criticism was that he wasn't in good enough shape to play in the NBA. He runs these dudes, and it might be his secret weapon.
I was just going to bring up the Lakers series. Like, if I think of, an image or what really comes to mind from that series, it's like obviously a couple individual plays, Jokic's threes, etc., Anthony Davis's facial expression after those threes, but it's also just Jokic running the floor and Anthony Davis trailing him. That was a huge part of that Nuggets series, man. Like, the Nuggets were in such better shape. They pushed the pace, and Nikola Jokic dragged Anthony Davis up and down the floor in that series. And he does that. He did that to Bam Adebayo in the finals. He's done that to other bigs in the playoffs before. And I agree. It's one of his ultimate underrated qualities, how good a shape he is and how he can just keep going and going and going.
Yeah. It absolutely is. Jokic would be incredible at chess boxing. If you could describe Jokic.
What's that?
You've never heard of chess boxing?
I've never heard of chess boxing.
Kale?
Chess
so
boxing?
I had a friend in college that was like one of the top 5 chess boxers in America.
Like,
that's true?
Yeah,
No, you
that's
didn't.
real. No, I really did. His name's Kevin. He
There's
also
5 people that do chess boxing?
Yeah, he like went to Indonesia or someplace in the like
in Indonesia.
there,
They turn out chess
no,
boxers
like literally, like we were
crazy.
all following it, like tuning into streams in the middle of the night, watching Kevin chess box.
So what it is you play chess. Like maybe you could you play chess a little bit and then you box for like a full round of boxing.
There's like rounds, so you you literally like play chess and like
in
have
between
to
the rounds,
move counter moves, and like you get like it's like a score thing, and you literally box each other in between rounds.
Can this be
wild?
So it's like a round of boxing, a round of chess, a round of like you go back and forth. And the point is,
we should create pod boxing. You podcast, and then you just box each other.
But if you think about it, like chess is a very you think about a game. Boxing is very much like an endurance and physical game.
Yeah.
So the mix of the two is like you're going to be a way worse chess player in the middle of a boxing match. But that's Jokic. Jokic is at all times playing both chess and boxing.
Yeah,
Dude, that's actually a great.
It's actually a great.
I didn't think you were going to land that plane, but yeah.
The more interesting comments from Draymond, though, we knew he liked Jokic. He's had a love affair with Jokic going on a couple years now. Aaron Gordon. This was more interesting
and
to
what
me.
we've suspected on this show.
What we have talked about on this very show. He says, Aaron Gordon is still playing great basketball. Aaron Gordon has grown so much since that playoff series. The player that he is today is so much different and better and more physical than he was then. Mm-hmm. And you get into the playoffs sometimes, and the physicality will shock you. And I think it shocked him in 2022. Well, some people get shocked and they never recover, but those who do recover get better, and Aaron Gordon is part of that group. He is physical as hell. They won a championship in large part due to what he brought to the team last year, and he's still bringing it. Fellas, Wind in particular, you remember that series, and Draymond Green, like, talk about trash talk. That guy will cross the line. Like that, he is Kevin Garnett was the same way. If he can make something about your character or you personally, like he's going to call you soft. He's going to say you're not about it. He was doing that to Aaron Gordon so much. He was going at him trying to break him. And I think that Draymond Green genuinely thought, that guy doesn't have it. I broke him. He's fragile. And if I see him again, I'll break him. And I think Aaron Gordon came out of that series going, I can't let this break me. I have to become better for it. And I love his note about becoming a more physical player. AG is one of the most physically, like if you had to guard a players in the league, he's like maybe 6th or 7th least you would want to go against because you're like, I'm going to end up bruised tonight. I thought that was the most interesting thing I've heard about the Nuggets all season.
Yeah. And I think going back to that series, a lot of it was Draymond Green just leaving Aaron Gordon wide open from 3.
Yeah.
And trash talking him.
Yeah.
Like as Aaron Gordon's getting the ball and getting ready to shoot a wide open 3 that he's not even guarding. And the first couple games of that series, it seemed like it definitely got to AG. And then by the end of it, it seemed like he rose above it. And then, of course, AG has the quote after the Nuggets lose in 5 that says, I got to become a smarter player. And it seems like that series kind of maybe charted his path forward with the Nuggets. But, yeah, I mean, now AG is as mentally strong as it gets, you know?
Yep.
Now he's like that dude for Denver.
Tells you something about his character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like guys that can get knocked out and get back up, man, that's something about who you are.
Yeah.
Right. You get the sense that Draymond was not surprised to see these guys go on and get better and go back and win a title.
No, I think he was surprised with Aaron Gordon.
Well, I'm saying by the time like he went through that series and then he saw how they responded. And I think now he's able to see clearly like what makes them a great team. He called them a great team in this same podcast clip. But I think it's also about the Denver Nuggets in general. Do you remember pre-title, more specifically, everything leading up to the bubble? These guys are soft.
Soft, yeah.
Everyone wanted to play the Nuggets. Everyone wanted to be the team that exposed them in the playoffs and broke them in the playoffs. And Draymond went for that. Different Nuggets, but this core, right? And he ultimately fell short. They ultimately overcame it. And that's championship stuff. And I don't think anyone thinks that about the Nuggets anymore. Yeah. I don't think anyone's like, we're going to go in there and push them around, or if we throw our best punch, they're going to fold. It's the opposite. It's a measuring stick game every time, and everyone expects them to respond.
I'm going to not stick the landing on this one.
Cool.
Do you guys remember Gangs of New York? You ever see it? Scorsese?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Bill Butcher, do you remember when he's given the story about the finest ass beating he ever took?
Yeah.
And he's talking about how the guy let him go and he resented him for like having pity on him.
Yeah.
And so he later came back and killed him.
Yeah.
Like that's Aaron Gordon, you know, like Draymond completely owned him,
Right.
humiliated him, but didn't kill him. And Aaron Gordon came back, and now, you know, now it's giving it to him.
He's
Maybe
not.
I did stick the landing.
He's
Gangs of
not
New York.
Draymond, but he is closer to cut from that cloth than anyone would have thought, you know, prior to that series.
And then lastly, he had some nice things to say about KCP. He said, you screen Pope, and there are screen magnets in the league. I love screen magnets. Screen magnets means somebody set a screen on you and they just run into the screen. Michael Porter's a bit of a screen magnet. He set a screen.
You think a 7-footer with 3 back surgeries is a screen magnet?
The Nuggets have some screen magnets.
Yeah,
Pope is kind of the opposite. Number one, he's hard to screen. Number two, if you screen him, even if you hold the screen, which I love Draymond, even if you hold the screen, he doesn't just die and stand there.
Draymond's mind is
He's like, even if you just wrap him up and grab his jersey, like he still keeps going.
Even if you knee him in the groin.
Yeah. He doesn't just die and stand there. I thought he did a good job. I thought they did a good job with their coverage. I like that one. It's something we've always said about him. But I love Draymond calling him out. That's a very important trait that he has. Not that he's a good defender, blanket statement. He's good at a very specific skill. And Draymond, being the one that's going to be setting the most screens, he's like, yeah, that guy freaking sucks to screen.
Did Draymond just watch our show and then do his show? What do you think?
Maybe. KCP's got to be on one of the all-defense teams this year, right?
Do you think he will be?
No, but he absolutely should make it.
We got to step up our game, man.
I know.
It's like our job. It is weird to say. I'm not trying to sound like more important or self-important or whatever, but it is true, man. Good. This is why there should be a better synergy. Media relations or public relations really is about working with the media and a mutual respect. He should. And I really do think locally there has to be a good, sounding the alarm here.
I think he deserves it. I would feel very genuine making that push. He's
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm not trying to make a crazy push over here. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we enjoyed Draymond talking about Jokic. We enjoyed that the other day. But who are our 5 favorite people that we enjoy to talk about Jokic? When you hear so-and-so did a show or had a comment or did an interview on Jokic, who makes you the most excited? Tell us in the chat. We're going to get to that on the other side.
Guys, if you're looking for something to do in Denver with the fam, with the fellas, whoever it might be, check out Infinity Park in Glendale. It's where the American Raptors play, and their season is just starting up. You can catch all their games at Infinity Park in Glendale. They embark on a 6-game homestand starting Sunday, March 17th. Tickets are $10. Bring your friends and family to Infinity Park. Spend your Sundays at Rugby Town, USA. If you want more info, you can go to AmericanRaptors.com. They got information there on the team and how to purchase your tickets online. We're also having a watch party for their game on March 1st, 4 p.m. Giveaways, VIP ticket raffle for the March 17th home opener, and much, much more. But Infinity Park, Glendale, Colorado, Cherry Creek, great spot to watch all your American Raptors games. And tickets are $10. Season's coming up soon.
Man, watching rugby, which I do rarely, I'm not trying to pretend, is humbling. Like, dude, I'm a soft person. Those dudes are unbelievable. But you don't have to be a rugby player this is going to be a rough transition. You guys ready? You guys don't need to be a rugby player to own a home. A lot of us are struggling to keep up with everyday bills. Everything is still really expensive. Homeowners, if you have a way out of this credit card spiral, you do have one actually, through American Financing. If you own a home, I want you to call our friends at American Financing. Tell them DNVR sent you. Why should you go? Because it's sweet to save money, and they are saving their customers plenty. In fact, they're saving them an average of $854 a month. That's a lot. By tapping into their home's equity and wiping out high-interest credit card debt, mortgage rates are now in the 5s, lower than they've been in a long time, and last year interest rates were much higher than they are today. So call American Financing, and if you do call today, you might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. Call today. Tell them DNVR sent you at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or go to americanfinancing.net/DNVR. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. APR for rates in the 5 start at 6.799% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 303-695-7000 for details about credit costs and terms.
So, it hasn't been like shared or anything, but I'm told it's out. I was on with Zach Lowe today, and on there, I know. On there, I said paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah.
What do you guys say?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, I think it could be said either way.
You're wrong.
I actually Googled it. Very common for people to say it my way.
Really?
I was like, man, I've always grown up saying it this way. I'm telling you, Jalen Rose does cultural or regional, like that. I'm not sure which one this is. I'm not sure which one this was, but paper, rock, scissors.
I mean, I grew up here. It's definitely rock, paper, scissors.
So you're saying cultural then?
I think rock, paper, scissors is the one.
Point win.
Is that episode out though? Jokes aside, I like you on the list.
It is.
Regional would be
out, but
soda versus pop.
Yeah, what do you say?
Soda.
I say pop. So what do you know? And my dad used to work for.
We are.
I'm telling you.
Maybe it's cultural.
No, I'm trying to tell you. trying to get you over here. I mean, I went to Boulder once when I was a kid. All right.
Did you like it?
It looked like heaven. All right. We enjoy certain people breaking down Jokic. Talking, you're just going to throw it up there. Bet365, never ordinary. Kale's like, let's move quicker.
Good job, Kale.
All right, never ordinary top 5. Our top 5 people that we enjoy when we see that they are going to be talking Nuggets.
Kendrick Perkins.
Put him up number 1.
3? Number 5.
Only if it's racial.
I always forget this list. Throwback a little, because I haven't even seen, is Jalen Rose still in media?
No.
Is he not?
He's kind of not, I feel like.
He's not at the moment.
I haven't seen him, but back in the day, Jalen Rose was one of the very, 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 very first Jokic adopters.
I agree.
And early on, when there's somebody that's like, I like Jokic, but then this was Ryan Koenigsberg, our colleague. He had the line about now there is praise that's actually an insult. Like if you call Jokic one of the best passing big men of all time, it's actually an insult.
Yeah.
He's the best passing big. Jalen Rose wasn't like that. Jalen Rose was early in actually seeing exactly what it was about Jokic. Like he wasn't just saying, "Oh, he's got good passing." He really understood Joker's game, and early on, I used to always love whenever he talked Jokic.
Dude, Jalen and Jacoby were one of my first go-to like Jokic Nuggets
Stretch Mark 5
glory vibes here. So yeah, Stretch Mark 5, which, and by the way, at the time, like obviously that stuff is all exhausted now. How over, but at the time,
it was quaint at one point.
It was kind of funny and charming, and they were the first people to sort of do it without being entirely condescending. So
yeah, I love Jalen.
But he's kind of gone, so I don't know where he is.
Faded.
I'd love to hear his takes though on Yoke lately. Man.
I mean, one of the last things we've seen from Jalen Rose is him and Lil Wayne talking about Jokic at the finals.
That's another great one.
True.
Yeah.
That's another great one. You're right, man. So he has some iconic ones. All right, number 4. Who are we getting into?
Number 4.
The Inside the NBA crew.
I
like this one. Chuck and Shaq. We couldn't just pick between Chuck and Shaq.
Respecters.
Those guys, now it wasn't always the case. There was a hump they had to get over. But now, again, Shaq has only... Uh-oh, what happened? Shaq has only ever said nice things about like 3 centers ever. You know what? All the best centers since his era, he won't say anything nice about.
You got to be at a certain level to get Shaq's praise like that.
And that level's insane.
Yeah. It's like you almost have to be better than Shaq.
They also, them coming around on Jokic gave a sort of more casual national level of street cred to the Jokic thing, which was dismissed in the early days as this analytic spreadsheet boy,
right?
Almost fetish kind of thing, you know? And, you know, I don't look at numbers. Jokic was always the ultimate eye test guy. You're either watching or you're not. But in the beginning, he became this poster boy for this weird sort of war of like how to watch basketball and how to appreciate it. Yeah. When Shaq and Chuck were like, this guy is one of them, I think that maybe changed the conversation a little bit or helped break down some of those doors.
It did, because Yoke was, you know, the all analytics guy, all analytics first team. And then, you know, as people started watching him more, as his game evolved, he became the best post-up player in the NBA too. Yeah. And that, to me, is when he really got the respect of a Shaq. Yeah. Because Shaq's thing is always, when he's talking about big men, it's just, oh, you got to get your ass in the post. Right. Jokic gets his ass in the post and abuses anybody down there. Yeah. So that's when I feel like he gained the ultimate respect of those guys.
Yeah.
And I remember my first time that Shaq really paid attention to Yoke. Do you guys remember? I think it was... I can't remember. It was an over-the-head pass, and it was the one to Will Barton against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Do you remember? He catches it to go like that, and Shaq was telling a story, and he stops in the middle. He goes, I like this big man. Oh, that's a true big man right here, you know. And I just remember at that moment, I was like, dude, Shaq is going to love this dude. He's going to love him because you're right. He's not just perimeter-oriented. He's everything, and I think Shaq sees that. He sees a lot of bigs. By the way, Akeem Olajuwon doesn't ever talk about Yoke, but he has some of my favorite praising Jokic things when he did the interview.
Best quote ever.
He's the one. He's the one.
It's the coolest.
Dude, we got to get Akeem on record talking. We got Bird, although it was a little unsatisfying to me.
The best thing that Bird did was the...
laugh.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, the other thing I love about Bird, his first reaction was, I would have loved to play against that guy.
I know.
I loved it.
Not with him, against him.
I loved it.
That was one of my first. I might be becoming a boomer because he said that, and I was like, oh, I miss the old days.
He did later say he'd be fun to play with. You know, but you can read into that what you will. The reason I hated it was you got Larry Bird. He never goes on record, and they were like, let's rapid fire this. And I'm like, no, don't rapid fire. Jokic is the reincarnation of Larry Bird. Let this man cook.
Can somebody do a quick follow-up here?
Yeah, can we get a follow-up? They're like, let's move on quickly now. Yeah. What do you think? Oh, killed me, man. I'm happy I got it. I'm not going to complain. But I am unsatisfied. I got like a little taste of a delicious meal. And I was like,
kind of a generic answer.
You're right. If you just type it out, could have been anyone.
I don't know how... Larry Bird, I think, is an off-record guy, not an on-the-record guy.
I think you're right.
You know?
I think you're right.
Got to get a couple beers in with Larry.
I think he would oblige.
Yep.
What else we got? Number 3, Bill Simmons. I remain the biggest Bill Simmons fan. He's still, to this day, my favorite media personality.
I think he's still
my idol.
He's still
got it. The world's gone full circle in like hating and liking different types of things. But I sit there and I go, when Bill Simmons is going to do a Jokic segment, I'm like, I'll be laying in bed. And I'll be like, sorry, I'm listening to this one. We're not going to bed yet. I got 45 minutes of a Nuggets pod. I'm listening to Bill.
Yeah.
I love Bill. He really, it's not just that he's funny and interesting and he has all that. He also, like we said with Jalen Rose, he gets Yoke on this deep level. He doesn't just get the surface level stuff. He gets it all, and I love that.
Well, and, I mean, he was one of the people to usher in the Larry Bird comps.
Oh,
That's so true. God, those comps have aged really well, too.
one of my proudest moments and all. It's so dumb. Like, you know how it is. You have idols, and you're like, what are we doing? But I wrote that article one time when he said something about something about the Nuggets, and I wrote the Bill Simmons hates the Denver Nuggets tongue-in-cheek piece, and he quote tweeted it with like nodding all along, but they were all the hot takes. It was like the article was basically Hot Box and Hot Takes rebranded as this Bill Simmons like hit piece, and he retweeted it, and I'm telling you, it incepted him because since then he's adopted all of those takes.
Wait, what made us say that Bill Simmons hates the Nuggets?
I can't remember.
It was Fraud City. It was Fraud City, and he was talking about, it was 2019, I believe, getting ready to go to the playoffs, and he was talking about their, they're going to get beat or something like this.
He was my first favorite. I agree, especially in with the way media has gone since he started doing his thing. Like he's sort of dominated this space that I tapped into growing up, and to go from that to now, for me, even to this day, if the Nuggets play well and there's a Simmons pod, I cannot press play fast enough.
It's the best.
The biggest disappointment of the season is that Celtics game happened on a Friday and that the week shows were already done and he didn't have to do one because he loves the Nuggets, and I love listening to him gush.
You ever know you do those personality tests to see if you're like compatible with a person or something, like compatibility tests? Mine would only have two questions. It's like, do you like Bill Simmons, or do you hate Bill Simmons? Do you hate Inside the NBA? Because they were like in vogue to hate on for a while.
Sure,
and I'm always like, you got to enjoy life, man. These guys are hilarious. All right, what else do we have? Number 2. Bill Walton. Who else was it going to be? It was really the inspiration for this list, if we're being honest. Out there, did an interview with Bennett Durando of the Denver Post. It was a very good interview. You can just like put a microphone in front of Bill Walton and say, talk about Nikola Jokic. It'd be like, oh, he's going to give you the weird. He uses the funniest metaphors.
Yeah.
He is clearly like Yoke. He sees Yoke and all the things. Bill Walton, we get one a year. One a year we get Bill Walton on Jokic, and every year it's a banger.
And also, it seems like it's not that Bill Walton just talked about Jokic at the All-Star game to Bennett, but it was that it seems like Jokic and Walton also chatted like one-on-one for a while. That would be a great conversation to be a fly on the wall for.
I love that Yoke has the approval of the group. The old-timers hate everyone.
Except him.
Akeem, Duncan, Shaq,
I'm telling
Bill
you,
Walton,
man,
they all love him.
Nikola Jokic doesn't care about the NBA in 2024. Like, just like all those old timers are annoyed by some of the stuff that goes on too. Yeah. And he's just an old school guy who's about the right things, and they respect that.
Yeah. Number 1, what do we have?
Who was like earliest on this?
Let's. Who was earlier on the Nuggets than the DNVR Nuggets? Of course, we had to give ourselves.
We're so good at talking about Jokic.
We're the best at it, baby. This is what we do.
Talked about Jokic more than I have any other person, thing, or anything.
Including myself in therapy.
I love it. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we are going to talk about this Clippers rebrand as we wrap up.
Guys, if you go onto thednvr.com right now, you'll probably see we're having a sale. Massive sale. 30% off a lot of the newest shirts that we've dropped on there.
Great deals.
This is going on through Wednesday, but while supplies last, I'm just looking at some of the shirts right now. Not a ton in stock, so you got to get on here quick if you want to pick up some of these. Winning is fun, losing sucks. 30% off that. You can get some of the Nuggets championship merch as well. 30% off as well. Go to thednvr.com, go to the locker. 30% off. I don't believe the Swatson shirts are that, but you can get them at the DNVR locker until tomorrow. So get on this quick. DNVR locker, that's where you got to go. So many great shirts on there. Awesome merch for all the Denver sports teams. So get on that while you can.
Fubo TV is the answer to the question you've been asking yourself. How do I watch the most Colorado sports in one place for the lowest price? Fubo is happy to step up and answer that question for you. 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. Stream live TV from any device. You get 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. Watch your local teams, baby. Watch all your local teams, at least more of them than you can anywhere else, for the best price with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
So the Clippers have rebranded. You knew it was coming. They needed it. But they mixed results, I would say. Mixed results. Let's pull up the images first here as we look at their logos. I'm going to start with that. This is hilarious because this is a total segment for D-Line. But you know what? D-Line left us. He left us.
That's what you get.
He left us.
That's like when I leave and Mike drops 30. That's what you get, dude.
Do you guys know where that movie's from? He left us. He left us. Anyone?
Gangs of New York.
And that's not what I'm going to do.
No.
Comment will tell you. Comment section will pick up on it. What I like, though, about this is
awkward
the
if they-
colors. The red, white, and blue, obviously iconic. But I like the shade of blue they picked here. And I like the shade of red they picked. I know that's a weird thing. But as I've said before, super color noticer. I like these colors, first and foremost. And I like the script. I think the script is good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's not terrible.
But the logo definitely looks like the logo for like Norwegian. What is the one?
Like Carnival
Norwegian cruises or something. Carnival, not Carnival. Looks like Norwegian cruises or something. It looks like a cruise ship.
What's the difference, real quick? What's the difference between a Carnival cruise ship and a Norwegian cruise ship?
Carnival is, I think, is like the lower, the cheaper one.
Oh, okay.
Did you not know this? I've never been on one, but I think that I only know it from a meme when people are like, they'll show photos of like a Carnival cruise and it'll be like completely trash.
Honestly, cruise ships are my hot air balloons for Dev.
They seem terrible.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've ever actually seen one.
You've never seen a cruise ship?
Yeah.
Like a picture of one?
Well, I mean, I've seen a picture of one.
Oh yeah.
But
I don't think they're for you, man. I don't think they're for you.
They sound terrible to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a cruise guy either.
Yeah, I've never been. But some people are. Let them have their fun.
But
Okay,
I do agree with you. That does not look like a Clipper.
Well, so here's what's happening. That is a Clippers like sail ship, I think, in the middle.
That is what it is.
And
You're right.
then-
Those are sails.
And then there's a compass kind
Yeah,
of overlaid
really
over
F's it up.
which makes it look kind of like a broader cruise deal.
Yeah.
But I think that's a compass.
You're
And if
right.
you see how the N of Los Angeles lines up at the top, like Northwood on a compass,
I like that
Oh,
detail.
that's kinda cool.
That's a
Yeah.
good detail.
I could do without the C.
Now here's the problem.
They just messed up the ship is the problem.
Yeah, I think they wanted to have the Northwest
It
thing.
looks
They wanted
too
to
like
maintain
destroyer, like battleship-esque,
it. It totally does.
you know? Instead of like, oh, that's a sailing boat.
Here's an interesting philosophical question. Did it go dead again? Oh man.
It's because we're so
All right, there you
hot
go.
right now.
Here's the thing. I think Clippers as a name is actually kind of cool in that it originates from the ABA, and the ABA had these like eccentric names to them that were very like, and I like that. I hate when names don't. Utah Jazz. What does that mean? You know, Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, cool. I like when names are regional and they mean something. The problem is the Clippers have always sucked. And there's now a baggage on the name Clippers that can never be lost. So I think it's the perfect name for the team. But unfortunately, if you're going to rebrand to me, I just always thought, and if you want to be LA, you should have always just rebranded something, the name, and started from there.
See, I don't think you can change the name.
Why?
Because it always goes poorly when you change the name. It's just like the Clippers are a fine name. Yeah, they're associated with losing, but it's a cool name. It's unique. It's just like, what are you going to change it to? The Commanders? Like,
Nice. The Los Angeles basketball
They
team.
are the Commanders of the NBA.
totally. Like racist owner that they got out of there.
I like
That's right, that they overthrew.
I like the red jersey a lot, real quick. I actually think the Clippers having an actual red base jersey is cool.
I actually think these are cool, man. I actually think the look of them is good. On the whole, I think they feel good.
Yeah. My favorite part about the rebrand was that LA logo they have.
By the way, did anybody get the trivia in the comment section
That
there?
LA logo
No
is
one.
kind of
No
sick.
one got it? Damn it.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. I do think the Clippers were due for a rebrand. I think it makes sense. I probably would have done it like as soon as. Well, they're doing it with the arena, so that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, they're moving into the dome next year with that wall of diehard fans.
That's right, and all the toilets.
Oh, no, a
just a
handful.
boatload of toilets.
A handful of people got it. It was Jurassic Park, guys. Always guess Jurassic Park.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Always guess Jurassic Park. So yeah, anyway, I think it's kind of cool. It makes the Clippers as cool as possible, which is not that cool. It does suck. I hate when I don't know why, but I hate the Clippers. And I don't feel good when they get good things. And I don't know why, because you would think I would hate all the other teams in the West more. I don't feel any like fear or anything about them, but for something about the Clippers, I think it's Ballmer. I don't like Ballmer.
I just don't feel any way about the Clippers. I don't hate them.
Yeah.
I obviously don't like them. They're just the Clippers.
To me, they were just the. It stinks because that market has had not that fan base.
Yeah.
Excuse me, has had nothing, and it's not like they shouldn't be lumped in with the other. It's not like they're the Lakers in terms of all the stuff all the benefits they've gotten to reap from being in LA. But there was something so soulless about the battle of LA stuff, directly juxtaposed with what teams like Denver were building. It's just. The Clippers had that great young core and all this culture, and they gutted it. Seemingly wise decision to build this soulless super team that has yet to win anything. So for me, it's hard to root for them.
I will say I think that this rebrand does look more regal than before, and that's kind of cool. I mean, regal is so in these days. I will say the teams that need to rebrand the most now, I still think the Thunder have the weirdest looking colors, and their logo is lame, and they look like a fake NBA team.
Yeah, they do look just like a 2K generated NBA team.
And it look like a NASCAR sponsor.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that means. But.
The Houston Rockets are just so bland and boring and lame. I think they could use a rebrand. And then I think the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Cavs are in the part where they have rebranded too much lately.
Look at this Eric comment. Yeah. I knew this was minus 700, by the way.
I know, you knew it was going to bother him. Hey, you left for like 2 weeks, man. We could not talk about it. We held on to it for as long as we could. The Cavs are the other team to me that I like. Their logos and stuff always look weird to me. They're like the one NBA team when I see their logo. Sometimes I'm like, who is that? Oh yeah, the Cavs.
Yeah.
Cavs stuff. The Cavs branding has always bored me. Like it just uninspiring.
You know who has just a terrible brand is the Wizards.
Yeah.
And the
true.
Magic.
Yeah, the Magic too could rebrand up.
Really?
Yeah, but how can you rebrand the Magic? If they're the Magic, it's going to be lame.
I also feel like they've tried a few times and.
No, but I'm saying they're gonna unless you change the name from Magic,
Right,
they're just always gonna be lame.
Yeah.
That's all you can do with it. All right, hit that outro music, Cal. That does it for today. We got a game tomorrow, fellas.
Nice.
Sacramento Kings should be a banger. Nuggets owe revenge. Very curious. Last game, good win, man. Impressive win, and everybody's talking about the Nuggets. Tomorrow, that one would be another statement win if you get a good one there. And in particular, remember Vlatko said he used to try to motivate him? I hope Vlatko's on the phone with him tonight like, man, Sabonis is so good. He always has good games against us, man.
I was just looking at the triple-double leaderboard. Sabonis is in the lead. I don't know if you saw this.
Have you seen
playing really well?
Have you seen Sabonis' stats the last like 10 times he's played against us?
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. I hope that is...
what if that was the secret sauce the whole time was Vlatko negging Jokic into all-time greatness?
He was gone right before the All-Star break. 3 losses, so who knows?
I'm gonna send you guys a text tonight. Yeah, just
get us motivated?
Making sure we're all locked in for tomorrow.
I love it,
You know
man.
what time it is.
Everybody do us a favor. Throw us a like on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow.